You've brought up the Nike Super shoes that you use, and obviously you gifted me those Ultras. I actually bought another pair of those same Ultras. But I've never heard you really explain, how people, if they want to grab a pair of those shoes, how they should go about using them. Matt Joy talked a little bit about it and made a lot of sense. He uses those types of shoes on runs, then he uses Vivos or any type of barefoot shoe outside in the gym doing anything else. If someone wants to invest in a pair of those shoes, because they're quite expensive, what do they need to think about before trying to make that purchase? And why would they even consider that?
I think the runners, kind of like same thing happens in lifting and same thing happens with jujitsu. Like everyone's got like an opinion on how you should start and what you should do and all these different things. And really, you just need to figure out a way to get started, and you need to figure out a way to keep it safe for yourself. I believe that super shoes in general, a super shoe is a shoe that has a carbon fiber foot plate. It's a very difficult shoe to bend, and when you go to bend it, it wants to snap. I also believe that Nike makes the best ones. I could be wrong. There's some people that talk about Adidas and some of these other companies making some good ones.
Those Ultra ones were good.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, the Ultra ones are nice. It's a little bit wider in terms of the shoe itself, but the Nikes are like reasonable in terms of their width. I mean, Nike's always going after like the look, so you end up dealing with them being obsessed with the aesthetics of the shoe and not just the functionality of the shoe. But a super shoe has a good, strong cushion, and it also has a carbon foot plate in it, and the shoe itself helps to like launch you forward. So when I just started messing with this experiment of me running, the first person I hit up was Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall has the all-time world record in the United States for a half marathon and a full marathon. And so luckily for me, I got access to some pretty great people, and he was like, get the Nike Alpha Fly. Like, he just, no questions asked, nothing. He just right away said that. Brad Kern, who's been a good friend of ours, wrote some books with Mark Sisson. Mark Sisson, really high level triathlete for years. Brad himself has been into endurance sports for many, many years. And Brad had mentioned how he's talked to a bunch of different people, and like the super shoe is a huge advancement in running, and it allows you to do a lot more, allows you to handle more volume.
Kind of like a slingshot?
Kind of like a slingshot. You get more reps, you get more sets, you get more overall work. More overall work with less damage is a really awesome thing. And as Nsima's pointing out, he was able to get through some of these runs more recently without feeling beat up. And whether you're talking about doing that with a shoe or without a shoe, that is what you're trying to get from your training. Your training is only as good as your recovery. So I think that this is a great place for a lot of people to start. Obviously, you have to fit within your financial means, and maybe it doesn't make sense for you to start out with $300 shoe. But again, it's going to help to mitigate a lot of stress. And if you watch, there's so many videos online of people running and showing form and technique over and over and over again. That would be great to learn that, but you're not going to learn that very quickly anyway. And I don't think that you should have a disregard for form and technique, because I think it's really crucial and it's important. There's a lot of different things to examine though, and it's going to take you months, and it's going to take you years to learn how to run. And since I'm just going to assume that you don't know how to run, I would say get yourself a pair of those shoes would be a great place to start.
Pat Project family, you're probably wondering, how is he talking right now? Well, right now you're hearing my thoughts, and I'm just trying to tell you that you need to get better quality sleep by shutting your mouth. That's why I've partnered with Hostage Tape, the best mouth tape on the market. If you have facial hair, this will not come off during the night. Stop snoring, get better quality sleep. Don't get divorced because you're such a horrible sleeper, and get Hostage Tape now. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, and as an added bonus, you guys can see I have a lot of facial hair, and Hostage Tape does not fall off. You guys got to head over to hostagetape.com/powerproject. You guys will receive free shipping plus a free bedside tin. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
Question, what size were the ones that you had me try on today?
Those were 13.
13. All right, cool. Now, I do have another question, because this is interesting. You've gotten a lot of people messaging you on Instagram, and you've mentioned this before, how like they see you running in those shoes and like, I thought you were all about Barefoot. I thought you were doing this. So I've noticed even when I do longer runs with like, I've ran in my Shamas, I've ran in the Vivo, the Primus Knits, and I've ran in their trail shoes. Because it's on concrete, there is a level of your feet getting a little bit beat up. But I have noticed that my gait, like the way I run and the way I strike the ground when I use Vivos, when I use Shamas, when I use Vibrams, has to be ideal. If I don't strike the ground in the right way, I will feel that. And that's actually, it's a good trainer for teaching me how I can best, like the most optimal way for me to hit the ground.
How's your foot supposed to land and stuff like that? Yeah, you learn a lot from it.
Exactly. Without, land without causing any type of pain, right? But I wonder if one were to just hop on and get the super shoes. The first time I used the super shoes on a run with you months ago, when I started to get tired, I started to like heel strike quite a bit. And I was noticing, I'm not feeling that. But that's not good. I don't want to strike the ground that way, but the shoes let me get away with it. So I almost wonder if you start off with those types of shoes and the way you're running isn't good and the way you strike the ground isn't good, you could develop bad habits in the way you run.
Yeah, because you could just be kind of throwing these kicks to the ground that are haphazard with your toes pointed out and all these things. It could be potentially helping you to just maybe almost encouraging like shitty form in some way.
Yeah.
I would agree with that to some extent. I would also just say like just work on your form. Like no matter what shoe you're wearing, like just commit to finding someone that you trust, that you believe in, whether it's Nick Bear or whoever it is that you look up online, Zach Bitter, any of these people. Listen to some of the stuff they talk about. People are going to talk about cadence. People are going to talk about picking your knees up. People are going to talk about the way that your foot lands. People are going to talk about all kinds of stuff. The interesting thing when you get into talking to runners actually don't care. It's kind of weird. You would think that runners would care the most, but they don't fucking care. It's almost like if you were talking to some high-level soccer players, they're not really going to talk about like the training. They're going to talk about like soccer and how to be better at soccer. They like to lift. They like to talk about running and sprinting and changing angles and stuff. And I'm sure the good ones are really dedicated and got it dialed in, but like, how do you handle the ball that way? How do you always dribble with your left foot like that and cross over to your right? Yeah. They wouldn't be like, hey man, like tell me more about like your bench press routine, They want to be like probably pretty specific. I have a clip from Brad Kern that I'll send over to Andrew here of some of the best runners in the world, and they're just going. Like it doesn't look like anyone gives a fuck, and it's not. It would be a mistake to say that anyone has bad form because these are the highest level people. And so I don't think the rest of the world has any clue, how they should run. It's just because how you run is just like, it's all made up stuff of what we think is best. And so we're going to say, if you land with your foot pointed outward, or if you had too much pronation, you're going to be really jacked up.
Who are you channeling?
There's so many different versions of running. Again, if we're talking about soccer, well, shit, if you're talking about soccer, it'd probably be a good idea to be on the balls of your feet kind of like most of the time. I would say occasionally maybe you go to cut and you get your whole foot in the ground. Same thing with pro football. But like, what if you're just a marathon runner? You don't have to run you just run fucking straight. You're not like really doing anything. You're not like juking and jiving and like, you're not throwing spin moves and you're not bringing the knees up. You're not like doing all these different maneuvers. You're just going, right?
That's so funny too. Juking and jiving.
Juking and jiving.
Oh, man. These are the weirdest shoes I've seen on Nike's website for a while. Have you guys ever see this?
The fuck are these?
I've seen those, where you can just slide them on. They I have a pair that's a little similar to them. It has a spring like in the back of the heel, and you just slide your foot right in
weird.
there.
I feel like I'd be disgusted by your shoe closet. I feel like you probably have so many shoes.
Oh, yes.
Do you?
I got a lot of shoes. I got a lot of kicks.
Power Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one. Or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, okay? Peace.